Like you just so never do. I'm gonna
But
unclose the
yeah,
door.
yeah. But I found a few more things to add to the types of intelligence. A little, couple of
So
cute
which
little
one do you want
thingies.
to do right now? Because we can choose, right? You can do.
Well,
I put,
let's just go.
should we do types of intelligence?
Well, let's just we can.
Or we
you
could,
know,
yeah, that's true. Actually, the truth is, it doesn't really matter. It's what you want to talk about.
Yeah,
Is the
let's
truth
just
of it, right? So that's perfect. We have
let's
funnel
just talk
formation.
and lead in,
Yeah.
and we'll get to both of them during
We will.
the hour,
We,
and
we absolutely will. Absolutely. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit a little music there. Gives us just a few seconds. So glad you're here.
Actually, I don't think I mentioned I was. Oh, go ahead. I think we're ready.
Hi, I'm Sue. Welcome to Fireside Chat. Welcome, Michael.
Go,
Oh my
hi.
goodness. Welcome,
Yeah, we're
Michael.
having fun already.
We are having so much fun. It's totally okay to start the show laughing. There's nothing wrong
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
I am so honored to have my good friend, Dr. Michael Schwartz. So glad you're here. Welcome.
Oh, thank you. My pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you.
What I was going to start. What I was starting to tell you.
Yes.
One of the things I don't think I mentioned before was I was actually a DJ on a college radio station.
Oh my goodness, you really were?
I really was
Oh
for
my
one
goodness.
semester.
Oh, that's so fun. Did you have to do late at night or anything? Or
It
did
was.
wasn't
I
too
think
bad
it
a
was
time?
on a Friday night.
Okay.
Yeah. It
So,
was.
like, that's my time.
Yeah,
for Friday night.
yeah.
I love Friday night because, like, the week is done. Like, I don't have to think
Yeah,
about work.
it was just.
It's just
Yeah,
such
and
a
the
nice
school,
thing.
the school I went to, they had bought an apartment building near the campus as a dorm,
Perfect.
and there's a lot of stories I won't go into. But the broadcast area is very limited, like the dorm and the campus.
Okay, so
Yeah, it was
limited.
It's a
Yeah,
very limited. We knew exactly who our demographic was.
right, and you could talk to that demographic. You don't have to
Yeah.
be like the public and stuff, right? Yeah.
So it was kind of fun.
That is so much fun.
Yeah.
But like I think that you're just such a master of communication.
Oh, thank you.
You really
Thank
are,
you.
like as a
Yeah.
professor, as a teacher, and it's really great that like you enjoy it as well because I can tell you enjoy teaching.
Oh, it's fun. I actually enjoy. I'm a socialized introvert.
So you're a well-adjusted introvert. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I won't say I'm well adjusted, but I'm a socialized
But you're
introvert.
socialized. I love it.
I enjoy the time with people and in
Good.
front of people and talking, but I need my recovery time.
Yeah, I understand that because you kind of have to
Mm.
fill up in a sense because it's like a depleting thing, right? Like you are kind of giving of yourself, really.
Yeah, yeah, and then you
then-
need time to recharge.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, okay,
It's good
You
that
know-
you don't have to do back to back to back to back.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
it's like, so
Yeah.
is it next
Yeah.
week or next month?
yeah, the 18th and the 25th.
Okay.
Okay.
And in June, that
It-
you'll be at the More series and More.
No, I'm not
No.
doing it at Moore. I'm
Oh.
doing this on my own. This is outside
Oh,
of Moore,
wow.
right?
Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah,
Can't
I'm
wait.
actually going to be doing it at the Davis Masonic Temple.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I don't know this.
Oh, yeah,
Will you
on-
invite me?
yeah, I'll invite you. You're invited. You're invited. You're definitely. Yeah, it's on 27 Mile
Oh, good.
and just east of Van Dyke.
Okay. Oh, God, that's so close.
Yeah, it's so super easy
So
to get
close.
to, and we've got parking right behind the building.
So what date's 15?
The 18th, they're both Wednesdays, the 18th and the 25th.
Okay, good.
And
Wow.
yeah, and arrive at 5:30-ish.
Okay, sure. If you want, I can help you set up or like if there's
Oh,
something
yeah,
we
that'd be
need to
great.
do, I
Thank
can
you.
help you set
Yeah.
up and tear down.
Yeah, because I will be having some kind of refreshment. Okay,
That's so nice.
non-alcoholic.
Sure.
Non-alcoholic. So if there's anybody there that wants alcoholic, you got to have it before you come or
Right.
after you leave. I'm not getting into that.
That's so funny.
But I will have some kind of refreshment. I haven't decided what yet.
Right. That's
but
great.
I don't want to have to talk over growling stomachs.
No, that's true. It can be distracting, right? If you're like,
And we'll actually start the presentation at around 6-ish.
okay, very good.
Okay.
So if I get there by 5:30, then we can set
Oh,
up.
oh yeah, yeah. I'm. And thank you again for that. So I'm going to start on the 18th. The first one will be types of intelligence,
Okay,
and you've seen me do that one at the Moore program.
I did.
And for the listeners who don't know what that is, it's an acronym: Macomb Organization for Retiree Enrichment, and the programs are held at the Lorenzo Center at Macomb Community College. But so I'm going to be repeating that one, types of intelligence.
Right.
And you attended that. What did you think of that one?
It was fascinating. There was so much that I didn't know, and there was so much, like, you have a lot of, in a sense, like, current, like, examples. Like, you have really good examples.
Yeah.
And you'd, like, have, like, this list, like, oh my gosh, you really do your research. All these people, and we're kind of guessing, are they dyslexic, or are they just different questions that you'd pose to us?
Yeah.
And they're like real people that we would be like, oh my goodness, like I can't believe that person, whatever. So it really makes it really brings it home that a lot of us could have different types of intelligence, and that they can all be brilliant.
Right. And I did do a couple of little quizzes.
That was amazing.
And the one quiz I had based on what you know, which people on this list are two highest IQ and two lowest
That's
IQ?
right.
And
I remember that.
I have never had a group of people get it correct.
It's so surprising.
Yes, it is so definitely surprising. And people guess other people's IQ based upon what they think they know about them.
Right.
And
That's
it's
a good
so
point.
yeah, and it's so often it's not there. It's just not. I just saw a little thing on. I saw a few of them, but one of them was interviewing Stallone,
Yes.
and asked him what he thought of Dolph Lundgren.
What did he say?
And Dolph Lundgren, played
It's
in one of the Rocky
Rocky,
movies.
yeah,
I don't
and
know,
he
was
was
it
like
3
this
or 4? The
terrifying
Russian guy.
Slavic
And he
kinda,
says,
yeah.
I hate him. He says, what do you mean? Well, you look at him. He's big. He's muscular. He got the blue eyes. He's got the long hair. And he's a genius.
Which you wouldn't think.
He's
And he
a
is.
genius. He's got degrees in physics and chemical engineering from like MIT and
my
all of that.
God.
He says, I hate the guy.
Because he has everything, like, and that too. Like,
Yeah, he says, how can you compete with that guy?
you can't. And I think Stallone has really high intelligence.
He does, and we're not going to give that away
We're
because
not going
he's
to give
still
it
on
away.
my list.
That's because I was thinking that might be, or I might be wrong.
Yeah,
right.
It might be. So
But
we don't want
I
to
could be wrong.
bias anybody.
That's for sure.
Yeah,
That's
but he
for
is
sure.
definitely above average.
Wow. So
Yeah.
types of intelligence, we're just going to say that people's bodies come in all shapes and sizes, tall or short, thin or heavy, lean or muscular. The same is true with people's intelligence. Some are highly intelligent and others less so. Some excel in mathematics, others are more geared towards the written word, others to the spoken word, and still others in music or art.
Yeah,
It's nice that those are intelligences.
Yeah, it's so people don't get it. And, some people excel in more than one type of intelligence.
Yes.
And others are very high in one and kind of in others, which is okay.
Sure, yeah, it is okay.
It's you don't, by and large, we don't expect, say, athletes to excel in every sport.
Right.
Why would we expect people to excel in every type of intelligence?
That's true.
It just, it doesn't, but yet we do.
Do you have a writing or do you have a speaking, like affinity in intelligence? Do you know what yours are? I'm sure you have more than one.
Well, let's put it, and you can judge for yourself then, okay?
Okay.
But when I took the SATs back in the Stone Age,
Oh my God, there was SAT back then. Oh my God.
I was in the 96th and 97th percentile on both of them.
Oh my.
So you judge for yourself.
That's unbelievable. Okay, wow. I've never written the SAT.
Yeah,
'cause-
I don't want to not to pat myself
no,
on the
but
back,
that's amazing, though. That's amazing.
yeah, and
Because you're a writer and a speaker and you're a teacher. You're
yeah.
like, there's so many things like extremely proficiently. I mean, to write a dissertation or a thesis,
Yeah.
it's like, that's probably the the most edited thing you ever have to do.
Oh
because you
my-
have to
oh my
right? It must be such a. Do you ever
God.
get like tired of going back to it again and having to, oh God, change this, change that? Is that hard?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I can't imagine.
But it was a lot of fun too.
Oh, good.
It was kind of fun. I love doing the research. And so you bring it up. I had a great dissertation committee, and two of the three. Actually, they were all great professors, all great instructors. But I got to say, two of the three on that committee were probably my favorite instructors that I ever had in college.
Oh my God.
Absolutely the best.
That's such an honor.
Yeah. Can I name them?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
you may.
Okay. There was Patty Costelli. She was my chair. And it was Jacqueline. She goes by Jackie Stavros.
Aw. I'm so
And-
glad you had them both. That's because
Oh, they-
they're instrumental in you
Oh,
developing.
yeah. And there was a third, but
Yeah.
he also he helped me a lot with the statistical analysis.
Oh, wow. Oh, because you have to do that too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was.
Does it take a couple of years or does it take like
The statistical analysis?
well, the thesis, like the dissertation to write it, does it take a couple of years to write it?
I actually, once Patty lit a fire under me,
Yes.
it took me another 15 months,
Wow.
which is pretty quick.
That's
I was
probably
told I
quick.
was told it was pretty quick.
Yeah, that sounds like that would be very
And,
quick.
but-
So do you have to kind of literally like pick a topic that no one has ever?
It generally, when you do a doctoral dissertation, regardless of what field, it's some new research, or you're verifying oppose. I want the word.
Yeah.
It escapes me, but
like
you're
counter.
either confirming or denying somebody else's work.
I see.
That you're
Okay.
doing research on something, but it's preferred that you do something original. And there's so much more. You know, when you get down into it, and you got to be so laser focused.
Oh God.
That was one of my concerns when I started, because I just tend to go down rabbit holes.
Me too. Yeah. Because it's so interesting.
Yeah, but I had these great committee that kept me right on. And the third one, I can't remember. I can't remember his name.
Are
God,
they the
for the
ones that
life
you
of
have to
me.
kind of present to? Like what's the
Yeah,
word? Defend?
Yeah. You know, I'll remember his name about 3:00 this morning. I'll wake up in
Right.
bed and I'll say, "Oh,
Whoever he was,
yeah."
we
Okay.
appreciate him too.
But-
Absolutely.
But, yeah, and the statistical analysis, I remember asking him at one point, he says, "What did we do with all of this before we had these computer tools?"
What did they do?
He says, "Well, you'll get up to this point, and that would be as far as you could take it."
Wow. Because you couldn't.
Well, I had like 270 or something usable responses
Oh my God.
to the survey I sent out. And we're getting a little off topic, but that's okay.
No, that's okay.
Yeah. And I was told it was new for LTU at the time. I don't know. To me, it seemed, what was the term they used to in my math books? Intuitively obvious.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
That's
12
interesting.
years ago, it says, where am I going to get survey participants? I go, internet, social media.
That's true.
So I sent out on everything that existed at the time that I used,
That's amazing.
and I had close to 300 replies. And we finally decided that, okay, you got enough. Because I asked, well, how do I know when I have enough? We'll let you know when you have it. It says we had enough.
Because it's like a population size. Imagine trying to find all those people and get them all
And it
in
was
at
very
the right time.
and it was
right.
very diverse.
Good.
The furthest distance away from here, the person I got a response from, this is the power of social media,
Wow.
people listening, okay? The furthest distance away from me was in Nepal.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
It is.
That's
It is
absolutely
crazy.
unbelievable.
And it was done in English.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm like, holy cow. And it was just amazing of how willing people are. And the only thing I offered was if they requested and gave me their contact info, I would send them a copy of the results.
Wow.
And very, very, very few people mostly just participated to
Yeah.
just put in there.
That's amazing.
And so it was very, very interesting. And we did see certain trends. And I remember one of the other professors, he wasn't on my committee, he was Tom Marks, talking to him one day, and I remember the comment he made is, well, that's what academics do. We look at what's going on, and then we try to figure it out.
Wow. Yeah. In a
Yeah.
very low level, but yeah, kind of.
So it was interesting. And got to learn a lot, and that's why I say, you've heard me call myself before a recovering engineer.
You are. You really are.
So it was interesting, but the types of intelligence that morphed from. I originally just did one on emotional intelligence.
Oh, that's amazing.
Okay, and I just briefly mentioned in that one that, well, there are other types of intelligence, including, okay?
Emotional intelligence.
And then I decided, well, that deserves its own workshop.
It really does. And I think it's so important.
Yeah. And then from that, I said, well, people have different intelligence, and people learn differently, too. They think differently. I said, that's probably...
Maybe do another talk
that
on
probably
learning
looks good there.
styles.
So that one I'm doing on the 25th at the same location,
that's
same
amazing.
times. And because, for instance, when I was growing up, I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, we were always told, you do your studying in a quiet room with no distractions, no noise, yada, yada, yada.
You didn't. No. Did you have like rock music blasting?
No, not that kind of music. But as I've aged, depending on what I'm doing, I may or may not have music, and what I'm doing will determine what music.
That's very true.
Right. And it is very rarely that I'll have anything with the vocal in it.
Because it's too distracting?
Because the voice is too distracting.
Yeah, because you're hearing what they're saying.
Right,
Of course,
but the music...
the
okay.
music is fine. Just
Yeah.
music is fine.
Yeah, so symphony is great, classical is great. I sometimes do occasionally have some, like I say, depending on what I'm doing. I like ABBA.
Right? That's so sweet. That's so sweet.
Yeah. And let me see, who's Debussy. I like his particularly Clair de Lune.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wow.
yeah, I like.
Look how long that's been like
yeah.
a classic song for so long,
Yeah.
like 100, I don't know.
Yeah,
how many.
and Ravel's Bolero.
Oh, that's amazing,
Yeah.
isn't it?
And I didn't realize
Wow.
that's what it was, but I was like, where have I heard that one before? It was background music on so many episodes of Star Trek, the
Oh, my
original Star
goodness.
Trek.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, that's incredible. adorable.
Yeah, and with some of it fit with some of the scenes they did.
Right. So somebody must have been
Oh, yeah.
intelligent enough
Well,
to put this in this
Well,
scene. It's
well,
perfect.
the other thing is it's public domain.
Yeah, that's true. Because at this point, it's public domain,
At this
right?
point,
Like
yeah.
how many hundred? Yeah.
Well, and if you look at the old classic, what I call the classic cartoons from when I grew up,
Yeah.
they use classical music. They're all public domain. There's no
Wow.
royalties they got to pay.
That's unbelievable. And yet, some of the most beautiful
Yeah,
music.
yeah. So, the learning styles, again, there's different ways that people learn.
Right.
And what's my learning style? It depends what I'm studying.
That's true.
For some things, I have to write it down.
Me too.
For other things,
too.
like I can read it. I did know a couple of fellow students who never took notes. They said it distracted them writing. They would just listen.
Wish I could. I have to
said,
write.
No, I have to write it. I have to.
It's university. I just got really good at note taking, but it's not easy.
No, it is not easy.
Not easy.
It is not
and
easy.
Sometimes I'll use different colored pens so that I know what's the section and whatnot. But usually, I'm comfortable if I can take notes. If I can't take notes, it's stressful to me because I know I'm not getting it.
Yeah, well, especially with me, where my handwriting, unless I take a lot of time to write, is like scribbling. But I did have one class in my undergrad. It was psychology.
Yes.
I just couldn't take the notes quick enough, so I bought a tape recorder,
Good.
and I would usually Saturday afternoon.
Yes.
I'd lay down in a bed in a quiet room and
Just
listen to his notes.
That's
listen to him
amazing.
speaking.
It's good though, because then you're hearing it for the second time, and then you can think about it more, in a sense, more deeply. Like you can. It isn't just you're just hearing it. You're hearing it. And you're actually hearing it again.
Right. But the technology we didn't have then that we do have now, like I can record it on here.
Yes. Yes.
And it will convert to text.
Oh God, what a dream that would have
It
been.
is. And actually, I think it's a macro that's built into Word. I know it's on my PC. Okay, where I can load the audio, the MP3 file, and it will convert it to text.
Wow. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, it's not 100%. It's not perfect, but it's there. You can always do some program to check.
And
to
you're going
check
to
it.
know, because of context, you're going to know if it's live or live. You're going to know.
Yeah. You'll know. You'll know. And it's just the technology is so wonderful. And I get into that a little bit also with the learning styles
Wow.
about
So relevant.
the use the technology.
Yes.
And again, how to there were so many people I did not realize. Apparently, he did announce it, but I did not see that show. That kind of drawing a blank now. Elon Musk is autistic.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that.
Wow.
I did that. I found that in my research.
Is autism a kind of a learning?
There's a whole scale.
Yeah.
It's not an either or.
Yeah.
There's a whole scale.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, and there's another one she's got to be an absolutely brilliant woman, Temple Grandin.
Yeah, I've heard of her. I don't know what she does.
There
Is she
was
a writer?
she has written books,
She's
but
written
she's not a
books.
writer per se. I think it was an HBO movie.
Okay.
Is when I first heard of her. I said, "Oh, this sounds interesting." And she's a PhD in animal husbandry.
Oh.
And she has gotten, believe it or not, she's gotten awards from both PETA and the beef industry.
Wow. So she treats the animals well.
She treats the animals well, and she showed them where if you do this and you treat the animals well and do this and that, it's less stress on them, and it's better for your bottom line.
Poor animals. I feel bad for animals.
Yeah, and she's autistic. We don't the way the media typically portrays people with autism or depression or bipolar is horrendous.
Yeah, that's true.
I hope I can help a little bit with
I
with
hope.
this
Yeah, I
as
think
well.
you can because you're teaching people.
Yeah, and
you know.
there's so much about that, and Winston Churchill was bipolar.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he was,
Wow.
and there are some historians that say that's the only reason that England did not surrender was because when he was in a manic
Oh
episode,
my goodness.
it was like surrender.
Never,
Never,
right?
never, never.
Right, exactly.
We will fight them on the beaches. We will fight them on. Yeah, when he went on a manic episode,
That's so interesting.
and Patty Duke, if you remember her,
The
she was
miracle worker.
bipolar.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But such a good actress. She was an
Yeah.
Academy Award winning.
Oh, yeah, and the issue that she had was she never went to a doctor when she was in a manic episode.
Okay.
So she was never properly. It was many years before she was properly diagnosed.
Poor thing.
Because when she was in a manic episode, she never went to the doctor.
Right.
She only went when she was in a depressive episode. So she was being
sense.
treated for depression, but not for the bipolar.
Oh my goodness. Can you imagine what that would do to the brain?
Oh yeah, and in extreme cases of mania, you go for days and weeks without sleep, and you take risks that you would in other times you would say, no, wait.
So your brain is literally different.
Yeah, it is, and it's like what happened? Well, how causes it?
Really? We
Yeah.
don't know. Oh my goodness.
There are medications and there's therapy for it, but in terms of what causes it, even depression. Okay, we say, well, these are possible causes.
We don't know for sure.
Well, we know that any of these could be a cause,
Could. Yeah.
but what for any particular person, who knows?
If you have like a depressive parent, is there any
It's more likely.
more likely? Oh, that's too
It's
bad.
more likely.
That's too bad.
It is, and it's not well understood by parents or teachers.
Or doctors? Well, I guess it's hard. Unless they knew what depression felt like, they may not know what it feels like.
A good MD or a general practitioner or internist, whatever the correct
Yeah.
is today, will probably recognize something and suggest therapy.
Okay.
But that is another specialized area, and not to take anything away from the doctor or from any primary care, but that's not their area of expertise.
No, that's true.
And it takes a certain area of expertise. So anyway, yeah, I'm going to be doing those 2 workshops, and it'll be posted. I'm finishing up the posting on Eventbrite. It's not terribly difficult to do, but you just have to take your time,
Yes. Double check.
double check, and I am probably the world's worst typist and speller. So it's all being done first in Word and then copy paste.
I see. Okay, good. So that they can catch
Yeah.
if there's anything. Yeah.
Because I don't go to that extreme if I post something on LinkedIn or Facebook, but I do have to remember to take a minute and read it before I push send.
True. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you? Okay, so you kind of thought like types of intelligence and learning styles actually have a lot of like correlation in a way, right? Like there's something to do with each other. Maybe not the right word correlation, but you'd be able to talk about it much better than I would. I have no idea. Types of intelligence can inform learning styles, or do you think it can be?
I haven't seen anything that says one directly impacts the other.
Yeah.
It's just like emotional intelligence and say verbal or mathematical or linguistic. They're not necessarily related.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah. Okay.
and but emotional intelligence often, how do I say it? Often is a bigger predictor of success in business
Okay. And they
because
call it EQ?
yeah, EQ, EI or EQ,
EI,
EI
yeah.
emotional intelligence, EQ emotional quotient.
Okay.
I have not found a generally accepted test for emotional
Wow.
intelligence. For IQ, there are some that are generally accepted. Now, I'm not going to comment on whether or not they're valid. I'll just say that they've been around for a long time. And if you come to my types of intelligence
Yeah.
workshop, I'll talk about how they came to be.
That's amazing.
As you know, I will talk about how they came to be
It's so interesting. Yeah.
and why they came to be, and how in many cases they've been misused.
Very true.
But
It doesn't change over time. Your IQ is
I've asked that question and I haven't gotten a satisfactory answer, or what I consider a satisfactory answer.
I feel like I'm so immersed in so many more things now than when I was in university. I feel like I hope that I would be pushing it a little bit higher than
Well,
not.
there's two things when you say change over time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, does an individual's intelligence change over time? Well, it's generally accepted that their potential intelligence is pretty well set at birth.
Interesting.
Okay, I say potential.
Potential.
Yes. Okay. That can be impacted by environment, by nutrition, by so on and so on. And then there is, has the general population's intelligence changed over time? Now, we're not going to really, could be a slippery slope, but there's some evidence that it's possible that it has increased because of better nutrition,
Oh, I see.
environment,
Okay.
so on and so on.
Right.
Because when, particularly as a young child, you don't have proper nutrition, you don't have all of that good stuff to feed your body and your brain,
You're right.
then it impacts. We think about nutrition as, well, you need protein to build muscles and calcium for bones and all that. But what nutrients do we need to feed our brain?
Is cholesterol important for the brain?
Cholesterol, the body needs a certain amount of cholesterol.
Right, I've heard that.
It does need a certain
Yeah.
amount. When is it too much? No. I remember a doctor years ago was telling me that he had patients with very high cholesterol, no heart problems whatsoever,
No.
and others with very low cholesterol that had problems.
Wow.
He says, so there is some other mechanism that they, at the time at least, they didn't understand what was
Right.
going on.
That makes sense, yeah.
Because
wow.
why in some people does the cholesterol precipitate out onto the arteries and form blockages in the arteries? Because it's not, and I'm not a medical doctor, so don't, okay? But the cholesterol per se, I don't think is the issue. It's when it precipitates out in like plaque on your teeth, so like plaque in your arteries, and blocks the flow of blood. It's kind of like when I had kidney stones. Okay.
Oh gosh, what a terrible thing
yeah.
to
Oh
go through.
God. Oh,
It's
painful.
that's unimaginable. I
Oh,
can't even.
yeah. I'll tell you, when they were doing the CT scan on me and they put me in there, I'm screaming my guts out, just kill me, just kill
Oh
me.
God, because it's so bad, and everybody must
Oh, yeah.
sympathize.
Oh,
Everyone
yeah.
must just be like, we don't want to hurt you, but can you move your arm here or whatever it is?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God.
But I remember the doctor saying everybody's got kidney stones. They're not a problem until they start to move.
No,
Okay?
that sounds awful.
Everybody's got them.
Oh my God.
Well, look at it this way. If you take, like I had, which is a 7 millimeter, diameter. That doesn't grow overnight.
No, 7 millimeters.
Yeah,
That's
it's
big.
a little over a quarter inch for those
That's-
who are not metrically attuned.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
That's pretty big though.
So remember, we're asking the surgeon. What my ex-wife asked, well, what's the biggest kidney stone you've ever removed? He said, 7 centimeters.
That's crazy.
Now, for those who are not metrically attuned,
Yeah.
that's the size of a golf ball.
Oh my God.
That does not grow overnight.
That's so bad. So bad.
So, you wonder about these things. How can those things grow in your body and you don't know? And we are verging so far afield.
But we get to talk about whatever we want, so it's all right.
Yeah,
It's totally all right.
Yeah. So, so it's fun. It's that's one of the things I like about doing the research for these workshops. Well, one of the good things and the bad things is I see things that, oh, that looks interesting. And it really, yeah.
Right? But it is interesting.
And I talk a little about that with the expanded learning styles. I talk about the students with ADHD.
Okay.
Okay?
That's true.
It's like what?
That's true.
And, which used to be just ADD.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And there's a lot, like bipolar used to be manic depressive.
Okay.
And they just changed the terminology to less imposing, okay?
Yes.
Because manic depressive sounded more scary than bipolar.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so.
So the ADD, now ADHD, so it tends to be more common in boys than girls.
Especially young, right? There aren't a lot
Especially
of young
young.
girls. Like usually,
Yeah.
it's a later onset for girls sometimes.
Yeah, and a smaller percentage of the population.
Right.
Yeah, and I remember the kid's pediatrician years and years and years ago, when we were in South Bend, said, young boys are not built to sit in a seat in a classroom
No, for hours.
for
no.
6 hours a day.
No.
They're not built that way.
So there's nothing wrong with them. It's just that it's hard for them. It's challenging.
It's challenging. I know it was
Yeah.
challenging for me.
Yeah. But like you're such a good student though. Still.
Thanks. Yeah. But take that along with, attention deficit and it's like along with the teachers that would just drone on endlessly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's like it was all you could do some times to stay awake, let alone pay attention. That was another reason to take notes. It helped you stay awake.
That's true.
And by the way, so let's talk about taking notes. You know anybody that takes notes on their laptop?
But it's not the same.
Exactly. It's much less effective than handwriting it.
So interesting.
Yeah, because there's something about that link between the mind and the...
Because you're forming the letters. Right? You're thinking about...
And there is,
I feel like
I do
there's
have this little electronic toy. I don't want to mention that. I don't want to do advertising for anybody.
Don't
But
worry.
it's basically an electronic notepad, okay, where I can handwrite on it, and it will convert it to text.
That's amazing.
And I can send it to my laptop or my PC.
And that's all perfectly formatted.
Yeah, you still best to do a check
Right.
on it.
But it saves so much time.
But it says so much, and then you have it, and you've got call it the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Okay, you handwritten
I
it
agree.
out,
I
and
agree.
now you have legible text. And the other thing is, I could download, and one of the reasons I could download PDFs onto that and make notes on the PDFs.
Oh, writing.
And I
Yeah.
don't have to carry a stack of papers.
Oh my God.
And I can put ebooks that are on PDF format onto there.
But you don't need the physical.
No, and I've got a very thin, very thin, very lightweight, less than 8.5 by 11, And actually, I do. They came out with a new one. I just ordered. It's on its way here from
That's amazing.
It's on its way here from Norway.
Oh my God, from Norway.
From Norway. There's probably some others that are available now that are catching up, but this one that I first saw,
Wow.
it's from Norway, and it's
That's amazing.
yeah. The biggest difference there are a couple of differences. One of the differences it's a slightly larger size, and the one I have is monochrome. This one's color.
Wow.
So it's a flat screen, very thin, like less than a quarter inch, color
Oh my God.
with backlight.
Oh, that's phenomenal. You're going to have so much fun with that.
Oh, the technology is.
I hope it comes this weekend.
Oh, yeah, me too. Me too.
That's so exciting. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I know. They have
So-
like, in a sense, plain paper looking for people that have eye strain.
Yeah.
Things that almost look like paper.
Yeah.
It's really amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's just the technology is, like so when I started the doctoral program, my first class was in 2006.
Okay.
Okay. And it was about 20 years since I had finished my MBA. And I remember saying, when I got my MBA, there was no internet. Now everything is on the internet.
So it's actually easier being a student
In some
at
ways.
at any level
The-
that you
see-
can access.
There's good and not so good.
Yeah.
The good thing is that when you put in the search word or search term or whatever, you can get thousands of hits in milliseconds. The bad part is you get thousands of hits in milliseconds. Now, so how good did you put in your search terms?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's really important.
Yeah. Now, I know if you do Google Scholar, okay, which is primarily peer-reviewed stuff,
Right.
you could put in a date range, or you can sort it by date, or you can sort it by relevance.
Wow.
So that helps a little. But there's still, I've done that, and I'm still
much.
go through, okay, I got 2 on that first page, I got none on the second, none on the third.
Right. You have to literally keep track of where you found things. Because
Well, I
it
do that
isn't-
mentally, to just for my own.
That's a lot.
But the thing I do when I use Google Scholar like that,
Yeah.
I'll pick a date range, usually.
So at least
okay.
you know what dates.
Right. I don't want something from 1960, for instance. Okay.
No.
I want something newer. And then I'll have it sorted first by relevance and then by date.
Okay. Because first it has to be relevant for it to be counted.
Well, if it does by relevance, it ignores the date.
Oh, I see. So
And
then
if
you take
do
the
it by
ones that are relevant.
yeah, and if you do it by date, it ignores the relevance.
That's true.
Okay, you can't
Yeah.
choose both.
No.
The way it's set up the last time I looked. Okay,
Sure.
so I do it one way and then I do it the other way,
And then you get like a few really good things.
and then for me it works.
Did
For
you ever-
somebody else it might not.
Right. And then AI enters the picture and things change
Yeah,
all
well,
over again. I mean, I think it's influencing the way, like college students.
oh,
I wouldn't want to be a professor.
I'll tell you 2 things real quick. When I do a search on Google, the first thing that comes up is what AI says.
Oh, right. So you have to look past the AI.
So I look past that. Like
Yeah,
they 99
too.
times out of 100, I look past that.
Me too.
Now, when I taught as an adjunct, and I'm not going to mention the school,
That's okay.
I would give students some direction about, check this, check that, check the other.
That's right.
Because, again, in order to keep things interesting, I did not use the usual case studies that are in the back of the book.
Okay.
Okay, so for instance, for things like leadership, I would give them a list of movies that were
Oh.
available free online.
Oh, that's
okay?
amazing.
Okay.
That's so much more interesting.
Oh, yeah.
The way you teach.
Yeah, so I've used for some just off the top of my head,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we didn't come with any notes. Okay, as leadership. What was the movies? 12 Angry Men,
Okay.
the Henry Fonda version. I have nothing against Jack Lemmon's version, but I prefer the Henry Fonda version. Coach Carter with Sam Jackson. 12 O'Clock High, which was like from 1949, I think, with Gregory Peck.
I like Gregory Peck.
Yeah. Trying to think of, and a few others.
Did you Wall Street? No.
No, I didn't do Wall Street.
No.
No, not for leadership.
No.
But there were some great ones. And so I gave them, check these sites out for, and one student, she copied and pasted the whole text
Oh
from
my
the word.
God. That's not what you were.
No, and like on Wikipedia where it gives you the the subscripts where it refers you to the references below, she didn't even bother taking those out.
Oh my goodness.
And it was the first couple of sentences. I looked, God, this looks familiar, because I read all those sources before and I looked at it and I go. And then I see the note. I go,
Copy and paste.
she just literally copied and pasted the whole page.
Oh my God.
And when I gave it back to her, I said, I'm going to be kind and only give you a D.
Oh my goodness.
I should just fail you for it.
You could have failed her. Yeah, because she knows that she did wrong.
Consider this a learning experience. You do this again, I'll fail you.
Yeah, definitely. You didn't have to be kind. Wow.
So, how is AI affecting? I
don't know. I feel like imagine if you go to a doctor and they did AI to do everything, to learn, and
well,
they didn't really learn it. That's what I'm concerned.
But I know also I can get to a whole other topic, which is probably
we always
not
do that, though. There's
best
always
for,
so many interesting
no,
topics.
it goes to other air. Right? We'll talk about that off air.
Right.
Okay. The last few semesters that I taught, they had programs that we were encouraged to use to put the students' paper through.
Oh, yeah.
That would search the web to see if they copied it from anywhere.
Okay. Did it begin to work? Do you feel like sometimes it caught things?
It worked. It worked. There were like everything else, there were ways around it. But it worked. I know one exam I had in the doctoral program, the professor did not give it out to us in advance. It was like he gave us, we would get to class, he gave us the where to get. I think it was loaded on Blackboard. Okay, the Blackboard is an app.
An app, okay, that you can upload into and whatnot.
Yeah, it's for teaching. Documents and everything else. Okay, but the thing is, as soon as you open that document, your laptop had no access to the internet anymore. So you couldn't do your research during the test. It would not allow you internet access
while it was running.
While you were taking the test.
So that's good because you didn't want them searching the internet during the test. It's not much of a test, yeah.
Right. Now, of course, we asked.
Interesting.
Well, what about students that have a cell phone?
It's true, because they'll think of a way around it.
Oh, yeah.
They always will. I mean, the watch becomes suspect after a while.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, and it was my finance course in my MBA. For whatever reason, our professor decided to give we had, I think it was 2 exams and a final, but the second exam, I think because a class was canceled, he decided to do as a take-home. Okay?
That's nice.
No, I was opposed to it. Okay? And I gave my reasons.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay? But it gets better.
Yeah,
okay?
It gets interesting.
Now, this was a finance course. Okay? Not accounting. Finance. They're different.
Yes, they are.
Okay? Okay, at a very high level, for those who, okay, finance predicts what's going to happen, right? That you're analyzing the situation to predict what you might get, like return on investments and so on. Okay.
Okay.
Whereas accounting analyzes what already happened.
That's true.
Okay.
That's true.
Okay. So you two different ways of looking at it. Well, there's one bozo.
Right.
I was going to call him something else.
Yeah.
He argues with the instructor about being marked off on it.
Wow.
And he says, I know I'm right because when I took it to my accounting department,
Oh my God. Oh my God.
and
So-
he was in the back room, I was in the front room, I says, I told you that was what was going to happen.
You are absolutely right.
And he did. Thank you for proving me right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I took it
I
to the
told you that
accounting
was going to
department.
happen.
Jeez. And he did.
And it did. And he gave us a take-home final. The professor fortunately did not hold a grudge because I did get a really good grade
Wow.
on the course. I did well on the final. But, those are the things that I had as an undergrad on strength of materials. Interesting course for engineers. Anyhow, you got to have it as an engineer. There's no
That's
okay.
so important, right?
Right. So, as most undergrads, especially the ones who are full-time day students, at that point I was already a part-time night student,
Okay.
wanted an open book exam. Because after all, in the real world, you have all sorts of reference materials available to you. So why shouldn't we have it when we do the exam? And he was a poet. He says, I tell you what, we're not doing an open book. However, I will give you a sheet of paper with every formula and equation that you might possibly need.
That's so nice of him, my God.
However, since you point out in the real world, you also have extraneous information.
Oh, so he's going to
And
do some extraneous.
So you have to decide what's relevant to your problem. And so if you want that, you're going to get extraneous
That's
information
really good thinking. Yeah.
on the exam. And there were some moans and groans. I was fine with it.
You were fine because you know what was extraneous.
I was perfectly
you
fine
were totally
with it.
fine, yeah.
I didn't care. It was, hey, I got the equation. That's what I care about. Okay.
And you knew what was extraneous and what wasn't.
And you could figure it out,
Yeah.
without getting into particulars. But yeah, it just now the PE, the professional engineer exam,
Oh God, that must have been something else.
2 8-hour exams.
Oh my
part
God.
1 and part 2.
And it's engineering. Like
And
that
it's
must have
engineering.
been awful.
Now, the morning portion of part 1 covered everything you learned in your 4 years.
Just the morning of part 1.
Yeah. The afternoon of part 1, they had what they called problem sets, and it was different areas of engineering, but you got to choose which problem you were going to work on.
Okay, that's good.
Okay. And that was open book, so you can bring in whatever you wanted. And you never knew what was going to be asked. God, it was... Now, part 2, when I took it, part 2 was all... So there was 4 problems in the morning, 4 in the afternoon, and it was all long answer, all calculated out.
everything and-
Show all your work, and yada, yada, yada.
Did you
and
pass
you could
it the first time through?
I passed both of first time through. I studied my brains out.
I can't imagine.
I studied more than I remember when I got home from part 2. It was it August? Well, it was nice weather. I think it was during the summer.
Yeah.
And I got out of the car, walk up to the house. My wife was standing. How'd you do? And I'm like this. I don't know. I have no clue how I did. Oh no! Come on, you must have. I have no idea how I did. then why are you smiling? Because it's over.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh, completely. It's so stressful.
It's over.
For years, you're worried about it.
For yeah,
Years.
yeah. It was an interesting experience. I will say that.
So, is there an exam at the end of the PhD or no? Like once
in
you've
the-
done your.
Well, in that I think that depends on the program and the school.
Okay.
Okay. When I started, Lawrence Tech had what they called a comprehensive exam, which covered everything.
Okay.
Okay. By the time I got to where I finished the coursework, they were going to do, rather than an exam, you wrote a qualifying paper.
Wow.
Okay, because of the thinking was, well, why test somebody on accounting if they're going to go into leadership role, into whatever role?
That's true.
It just doesn't make sense. I think that's why they did that. So it was a qualifying paper. It was a topic of your choice.
That's nice of them, too.
Yeah, and you could look at it as a mini dissertation.
Right. Are you encouraged to publish your PhD or?
Well, I when I finished the dissertation.
It's like that.
Oh yeah, mine was like that. Okay, and
Wow. After editing.
After editing, and I remember I went to Kinko's at the time. It was still Kinko's, and
Oh my God.
I had some charts and graphs were in color. So it was, if they give it to them to print, they were going to print the whole thing and charge me for the whole thing as color.
That's crazy.
So I printed it myself. I had a pretty good quality printer for the time, and I got high quality paper, and I printed
That's
it myself.
amazing.
So anyway, I went through that, and it is published. You do publish it. It goes, you typically give one to each member of the dissertation committee, and I forget if it was one or two that went to the school library,
Okay.
and there was a couple of other places you went to.
So several copies you have to make.
There was several copies. That's in addition to your tuition and everything else.
Wow.
And and there's a place, I forget where it's called. I think they're based in Ann Arbor, where will you send it there electronically?
Right. And they bound it?
Well, no, that's separate. This was
Separate. Oh my
that's
God.
separate,
This is
okay?
just like copies of the dissertation.
Yeah. But we send it to them, and you could either have them put it in their catalog without your charging you, or they would charge you. Now, if you paid to have it put in their catalog,
Yeah.
you got royalties when it sold.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I did sell 3 or 4 copies.
That's really, oh my gosh.
And
Weren't you so
looked at
thrilled?
it, and I
oh my
looked at it
God,
and said, I
somebody
got a
bought
royalty
my
check.
work.
Wow, I got a royalty check.
That's so
I said,
wonderful.
"Well, I can go to Starbucks and get a grande latte now."
One time.
Yeah.
But that's amazing
But
that somebody
it was
wanted
just
your
so,
work.
yeah.
That's the best. Because, look how much you put into it.
Oh, yeah. But then we were encouraged to write a paper from that, and I wrote a paper. I sent it into a peer-reviewed journal, which did get published.
Wow.
Accepted and published. And I was told by my chair that Patty told me, he says, from my submitting it to it being published, she'd never seen it go that fast before.
Wow.
I said, well, I had a good dissertation committee.
That's amazing.
And they only kicked it back for one minor rewrite.
And you didn't mind at that point
I
because it was
didn't mind it.
so nothing compared to what it could have been.
And she said, well, that's great. I said, well, I had a great... And typically when the student does that, they are the primary author, and the chair is the secondary author.
Okay.
Okay? And I said, well, you helped me with that too. So he says, yeah, but you had a good base to start with, yada, yada, yada.
I'm so glad you had who you did.
Oh, yeah, she was phenomenal. She was absolutely
Are
wonderful.
they writers or are they masters at their subjects?
They write in their field.
So they know good writing in the field.
In the
their own
field.
field, yeah.
Yeah, Jackie does consulting. If I remember right, a couple of years ago, I think if I remember right, she did a book tour in Australia.
Wow.
Yeah. Patty does consulting as well in her field of leadership. And with most universities do, I believe, do encourage the professors to do outside consulting.
Because they bring back so much
Yeah.
of a richness of current information.
Yeah, or at least do research and publish.
Okay.
And excuse me. And to do, yeah, and they bring back more knowledge.
Right.
And
It's
gets
real
the name of the
world.
university out more.
Yeah, that's great.
And it gets you out of the office and the classroom.
That's for sure. Because like you spend a lot of time day and night there, right?
Oh,
Day and
yeah.
night, day and night.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. I got such quick turnaround on the edits
Wow. There must have been
with my
almost nothing
dissertation.
needed.
It was
They
like
just didn't need to.
no. I mean, when I was writing the dissertation,
Oh, that they gave it back
that
to you
they
really quick.
gave it back to me real quick. I'm like, oh my God! And you want to talk about being persnickety?
I like that word. Yes.
If there was a comma out of place,
Oh man.
it was noted.
Oh no.
Yeah,
I guess it has to be.
yeah, but there's still typos you find after it's published. You know, it's like the old saying, old new saying or new old saying. The best way to find a typo in an email is to hit send.
It's so true. So true. I put in a 30-second delay
Yeah.
so that I
Yeah.
can still get it.
Yeah.
And that you wouldn't believe how much you need that.
Oh, you got to be so careful. I
Can't imagine it like a
Well, I had a
thesis or-
friend warning to everybody: be careful with the send versus send all, or
Oh
copy
my
versus copy all.
God. Oh my God.
Had a friend who worked at a tier 1 auto supplier, and he is an account manager. And I'm not going to mention his name or the company
Sure.
or the OE that it was with, but negotiated a really, really great contract.
That's amazing.
And he sent it out to within his company and at the customer's company. And somebody high up in his company sent him back a congratulations on a great contract and a great profit margin and yada, yada, yada. But he hit reply all.
Oh no. Oh no. No. That's
So the
no.
customer ended up getting it too.
Of course. What's this great profit margin?
yeah.
Like, oh no, that's
We
awful.
need to discuss this.
Oh no, that's too bad.
Yeah, it
because it was
wasn't-
already negotiated. Like,
Yeah, well, I don't. It was, you got to. There are always ways.
wow.
There are always ways. And with
So that guy cost his poor friend a lot of money.
well, no. My buddy he was in the clear. It wasn't him. It was the CEO or
The high
whoever
up.
that hit the got this reply all. People, be careful.
Be careful.
Be
yes.
careful
Especially
what you
very
do
sensitive
to-
information.
Yeah, and when I was the last job I worked on, defense contract, you'd send out an email and you'd address it. You'd have five or six or a dozen people, two, and then you'd have a bunch of them that were CC'd.
CC, yeah.
Well, imagine now, if you will, a world in which I do the Twilight Zone thing.
Yeah.
Imagine now, if you will, each one of those who it was sent to adds 3 or 4 people to the CC and does a reply all.
Oh my God, that's just crazy.
So pretty soon,
Oh my God.
it's uncontrollable.
Yeah, it is. That
If it
sounds
was
awful.
if it was paper memos,
Oh,
you couldn't buy enough paper to distribute it.
Department of Defense.
Yeah, this was
Wow.
no. This was
Because it was a contract.
It was a contract. Well, I was at the contractor. Yeah, this was not the government people doing this. This was the contractor. Now, government people were copied.
Right. They were part of the CC or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, my
But
God.
so imagine, you're starting out, you maybe have 15 people, 10, 15, 20 people on the CC, and within a couple of days, you've got,
Like 50 people
or more,
or more.
and it's like, didn't I see this email just an hour ago?
You did, but it was reply all.
Yeah. So I think I need to somehow figure out how to work that into
Like a teaching.
into an intelligence.
That's true. That's true.
It's
I'm sure. I think you'll come up with something because, and it's so common. Everyone, email is part of your life every day. Like even on the weekend, a lot of people, they try to get through, so they don't come back on Monday morning.
Yeah.
To more.
Well, I had a philosophy about that when I was an employee. Okay, different when you're on your own. But when I was an employee, I remember one guy in particular says, "I'm going on vacation, but I have my cell phone with me. If anything," I says, "No, you are not going to hear from me
At all.
You are not going to hear. This is vacation. It's time to get away.
Right, I agree.
You can be with your wife and kids.
Right.
It's not for work.
No.
It's for get away."
And everything will be okay.
Yeah, I says, if you hear from me, you will know that the world is coming to an, literally, the world is coming to an end, and you are the only person on earth that can prevent it.
That's the only reason.
That was the only reason you will hear from me.
Totally agree.
Because people...
Everything can wait.
God, I forget which one of my workshops I put that in. I specifically mention it in one of them.
Because that's a good
about taking
example.
a break.
Yeah, because you have to. You'll go start raving mad if you
Yeah,
don't.
vacation is vacation. Holiday is holiday.
And you look forward to it.
Yeah,
how can you not take it? That doesn't make sense to me at all.
It's to take a break from work and not to carry work with you halfway
No.
around the world.
No.
It's like,
Nope.
I don't.
I mean, yeah, like even if you're home, at least you have permission to not open your just.
Yeah.
And that feels good. That
Yeah.
feels good. Just that you don't have to worry.
And the other rule I had was I would answer my cell phone until I pulled into my garage,
and then that's it.
and it stayed in the car.
Yeah. Oh, that's really
This is my work
good.
cell phone.
That's
My-
really good.
My work cell phone.
Wow.
My thought was, and a lot of the guys I worked with were on Central and Pacific time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and my thought was, you're calling me at 6 o'clock Eastern time. I just walked into my house. I don't have whatever information you're looking for.
No, that's true.
I don't have it here.
That's true. So it's better in the car because then it doesn't disturb you.
Leave me a message, and I'll probably get to it before you get to your office. Now, that was not always true, because I worked with there were some of these people that, thought that normal starting time was 6 a.m.
Oh my God. No, that's Pacific Standard Time, not
No,
Eastern.
that's not. That's not. That's not. But,
so yeah, wow.
But we with some folks on the West Coast that had a habit of starting meetings, WebEx or whatever used at the time, at 2 or 3 o'clock on Friday afternoon.
Which would be our 5 or yeah.
Yes.
Or 6. No.
Yeah, they do it
No.
right after coming back from lunch.
No.
And they thought nothing of it.
Yeah, because
Okay.
it was fine for them.
And they wouldn't stop. Well, I don't remember who got a great idea. When we called it, we would start it at 8 a.m. Monday.
Because then.
It's 5 a.m. their time.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious.
They got the message pretty quick.
That's so crazy.
It's okay. We won't do that anymore.
Yeah. Oh
So
my gosh, Michael, I'm going to have you come back.
Okay.
We always have so much to talk about. We always do.
That I should put that. I should add that into my dealing with difficult people.
That's true. I know, which would be another really good topic for us to talk about.
Yeah,
I'm so glad we had a chance today to talk.
Okay,
'Cause I
yeah.
always
Oh,
learn so
thank
much
you.
from
It's
you.
my pleasure.
It's just honestly like it's like you're like my portal into the world of
Oh,
like
thank you.
academia and like like all of the stuff that I just find fascinating is what you teach about. I just love that so much. Thank you for coming in.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So
Honestly.
whenever, if you need a speaker, call
Yeah,
me.
thank
If I can make
you.
it.
Yeah, thank you. Because
Yeah.
it's nice to have a speaker on speed dial. It's so nice. But I think that like I love the reaction of the people because when you were at Macomb Community College, oh my gosh, what an intelligent group.
Oh, they were phenomenal.
So the people that came to your talk were themselves. They figured out these very I did not get the trick. They all got the trick.
Yeah.
They all
Well, except who's the most and least on this list.
Yeah, that's the only one you could stump anybody. I
Yeah.
don't know. Like nobody gets that right.
But all the others, the shortest intelligence test in the world. 3 questions. No, people that are listening. Yes, it's actually called the world's shortest intelligence test. You can Google it and find it if you want. Okay, I did not make it up. I found it. It's on multiple different sites. Okay, the people at that one, they got it. They got it really quickly.
Yeah, that was an amazing crowd. Oh my god. I was like, wow, you guys. And like they're all like people who, retired and stuff like, man, I'm like, holy, you
Yeah.
have the smartest audiences.
Oh, yeah. The target demographic for that program is over 50.
But this smart, that's like, wow. I couldn't believe it.
Well, that's the thing is, and it should be at all ages, not just seniors,
Yeah.
not just children. Just keep learning.
Absolutely.
Just keep learning. What you learned and the world, everything is changing so much faster than when I was in school.
Yes.
You got to.
You absolutely
You've got
have no
to.
choice. There's no choice involved.
Right.
You have to.
Yeah. It's not everything I need. Definitely need to know I learned in high school. No.
No, not at all. Everything changes daily now, right? So, but will you please come back?
Oh, I will.
I'm so
will.
glad. Thank you. Thanks for watching. I hope that you
my pleasure.
got some really good insights on intelligence and learning styles, but we have a lot more to talk about.
Okay.
So we'll see you
my
next
pleasure.
time. Thank you.
Oh.
It really is. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, I really love the topics that you are so, like, knowledgeable about. Like, that just happens to be stuff that I love. It's just